You lads, you're talking tribe. Just get absolute stuck into this fav.
There's very few horses I've seen show as much as cartwheels, so I'm excited about her.
I have a small worry about economics on the ground. Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. And it's British Champions Day on Saturday, the swan song of what's been a good flat season. We see some fantastic horses on the track. City of Troy, we now know he's going off to the Breeders' Cup. We've got Economics who's running on the weekend. He's been a starlight of the season and we're going to be seeing him on the weekend. We're going to be previewing all 5 of the group races, and we have a special interview with Dylan Cunha, who has Prague running in the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes. So, gentlemen, it's a good weekend. It's the swan song of the flat season. Harry, looking forward to it?
No, I can't wait. Look, Chepstow has been on gone. We don't care about the jumps anymore. So no, roll on the flat. No, it should be a brilliant day's racing. I cannot wait for this. It's especially with heavy ground. It could be carnage. I love it.
Yeah, it's a day that can bring up some surprise results. Lee, it's a good day, isn't it? I like British Champions Day. It's a good day's action.
It is. Maybe it's not for those punters, but who doesn't like a change of track, running in a farmer's field on heavy ground at the back end of a season? Yeah, that's really something to get stuck into.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Just soft ground. I personally, as I've said many times, I think soft ground is an easy punting ground, and they're potentially changing courses. It's all very interesting, but we're hopefully going to guide you towards some winners. As you said, we've got an interview with Dylan Cunha coming up later on in the video around the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes. But we're going to dive in, gents. We're not going to hang around any longer. We're going to start with the first race. A Group 2 only name, I think, is the long distance cup, but it's a good race. It kicks action off on the Saturday. Kyprios is still in the betting 11-8. Trawlerman 4-1. We've also got Alnier in there as well at 4-1. Sweet Williams 6s. Illinois 8-1. Bigger about the rest. Betting's rolling across the screen there. Lee, long distance cup. What's your thoughts? If Kyprios goes, are you with him?
Definitely, Ash. I think he is. Look, we're seeing him in the Cadran. He was a 20-length winner of the Cadran. He's been winning impressively, but this season he's been grinding them wins out. He battles on hard. And he won well the last day. He has the beating of Trawlerman from the Gold Cup, a length winner there in the Gold Cup. But Trawlerman did beat him last season, just pipped him at the post in this race last season. Trawlerman will be a tough nut to crack, but I think Kyprios, look, he's held all before him this season. He's 6-6 and he's got the goat riding him, so what can go wrong? Look, I think Al Naya is very short, 2 runs for Current Connections, but that was a listed race the last day. Come there tanking, won by 8 lengths and hosed up. But this is a big step up, I think, against these class of horses, and Kyprios to win if he goes. If not, I think it's between the likes of Trawlerman and Sweet William.
Yeah, look, same. I'm sort of not really having a play at all right now because we don't know if Kyprios is going. But if he's not, I'd fancy Trawlerman. I just think he's a horse that has gone well fresh in the past. He obviously likes the course and distance a lot. And I know Connection said in the past that maybe he doesn't like soft ground, but you go for his pedigree. His pedigree's littered with soft ground. I think he'll handle the ground fine, and I think he's the best in here. Harry, Kyprios or not, what's your thoughts on the long distance?
Yeah, look, it's a question of whether he goes or not. Obviously, I'm a massive fan of Kyprios, and it would be no surprises to see him win. I would be interested in Al Naya, though, because I do think that this horse is rapidly improving. And just seeing what this horse should be 2 from 2 for Tom Clovish. Luke Morris should have won on this horse at York when he was weaving in and out behind Vauban. He should have won that day. I'll be looking to see if Luke Morris is going to beat Kyprios, it will be with one late surge and just nab him. Because if he gets in that battle, there is no horse that will beat Kyprios in a fight, because he just loves a good old battle.
Yeah, and I did the stats on the race last night, and I think the last 3-year-old winner was in 2009, and I think before that it was another one in the 2000s. So 3-year-olds don't have a great record in this, so that's a bit of a negative for Illinois if you've got any backers here. Hopefully a race will have a bit more of a stronger opinion on, because we know more of the runners, is the British Champions Stakes, and I'll run through the betting as it goes across the screen there. Kinross obviously was second in the Prix de la Forêt the last time out. He's back. He was winner of this race in 2022, beaten by Outpower last year, 9-2, topping the market. Montasib been a big improver, and he was a Group 1 winner last time out, 5-1. Kind of Blue 8, and Equal Love 8, Millstream 10-1. Bigger about the rest. Harry, I'm going to come back to you because it's an interesting race, British Champion Stakes, that a horse can go on the front end, can get loose, and it's tough to be caught. But what do you think of the race?
Look, Kinross ran a blinder last time out at Longchamp. You've got to take that into account behind Ramatuelle, but she was prime for the day, and she's been knocking on that door. Kinross at 3-1 though is short. I'd rather take Montasib at 5-1. I just think this horse, the track, the trip, the ground, this is just Montasib. It screams Montasib. And obviously, don't rule out last year's winner, Art Power, because he does come good at this time of the year. And obviously, he was a good winner. He sprung a massive shot, 40-1 this time last year. So I'd be sided with Montasib, but I think it'd be quite a strong play actually, Montasib. But hopefully, the rain just keeps coming because I just think he'd love it. So this straight track would suit him, and Art Power is a big old each way price.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Art Power is he leans into. I did some stats last night. I don't know why I did stats on all these races, but I did some stats on the race last night, and 7 of the last 10 winners had one over 7 furlongs before winning this race. So you want a bit more of a staying sprinter, if that makes any more sense, just because of the condition of the track. 6 furlongs at Ascot, usually softer ground. So he was one of those. Lee, I know you're a massive Kinross fan. You're a huge fan of the horse. Are you a fan of him for this weekend?
I'm deserting the match, and I'm with Harry. I think Montasib will win. I think you talk about them stats, and you talk about the 7 furlongs and maybe stay in favour. Montasib is a male winner. Was a handicapper, built up into this season and never looked back. Won on soft ground at Doncaster at the start of the season. 2 runs ago, won the Chip Chase, beaten Kinross, had a good turn of foot and come flying past, and done the same again the last day in the Sprint Cup at Haydock. Stays very well as a 7 furlong winner and a male winner there. Stays very well. Loves soft conditions as well, and would have been primed for this run, freshened up from that Sprint Cup. Montasib for me, and if I wanted to play one at a big pricey trade like Harry, I would maybe take a stab on Anath. I think is a huge price. I just think things didn't go right the last day. Fell out the traps, but seemed to hand the ground fine. It just was drawn away from the action on the far side of the relatively small group. And I just think he could play a role in them places. So yeah, Anath each way, but Montasib again for me, for like Harry.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating contest. It's one that's definitely, you can have a bit of a play in it and just sort of keep your stakes a little bit smaller. Here's my judges guide to the race. You can see my notes down here, so I'm going to be reading off them. But I have 2 slightly bigger prices. One that's scrolling across screen there, 12-1 Bouvertier. Nearly Bouverdier is one of my favourite horses of all time. Nearly the same name there. But
if he was winning in this race, it'd be a worry.
Big eye catcher last time out in the Prix de la Forêt. Really held out the back, came down that outside, was like the biggest eye catcher of the whole ARC weekend, I'd say. That was over 7 furlongs. He's a winner over 7 furlongs. He's also a winner over 6 as well. And he's been a highly tried horse. Like, he ran the French one, 2,000 guineas, I should say, sorry, and was nowhere. Let's put it that way. He's nowhere. But he was a classy horse, a 2-year-old. He chased down Rosalian in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère when finishing 3rd. He's a horse that would definitely stay, but I also think he's got plenty of speed. He's been quite keen in his race over a mile. So I think 6 furlongs, testing track like Ascot, testing ground, I think there's a lot of upside to Bouvertier. So I'm going to play him at 12-1. But I'm also going to play my old friend, Buccaneer Fuerte. I was a big fan of him for the Commonwealth Cup. He's 25-1 for this. I just see a lot of upsides to him as well. He won the Phoenix Stakes last season over 6 furlongs, beat Porto Fortuna, who's since won 4 Group 1s. Unquestionable was back in 5th. He went and won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He also beat Unquestionable in a Group 2. So that's, again, 2 pieces of solid form there. This season, Give Me the Beat Boys when giving £3 away. Give Me the Beat Boys went on to win a Group 3 next time out. Has had an interrupted season because he had travel problems. He had travel sickness coming over to Royal Ascot. He ran in the Sprint Cup behind Montasib on his first start for a while, then ran 8 days later over 5 furlongs in the Flying 5. Don't think 5 furlongs is his bag. I think a testing 6 like Ascot with a nice month in between runs now. I think I could see him hopefully at his best. So Buccaneer Fuerte 25s, but also Bouverdier at 12-1. Roll into the next race, the Group 1 British Champions Fillies and Mares Stakes. One of my favourite horses of the season is in here, topping the market. I'm sure I'll get a good word in for her. Kalpana, 7-4, Tiffany, 8-1, Content, 10s, same price as Time Lock, Danielle, 12-1, and bigger the rest. Lee, can you see past Kalpana at the top of the market, or are you thinking she's a good thing?
Yeah, look, I'm going to take a chance on this Guantanamera. I just think is a good each way price there. The favourite is Short. Look, she bolted up at Hamilton there, and she won really well in the September Stakes at Kempton the last day. She did beat the Gosden horse, the Widow, is it? King's Widow?
God's Window at Hamilton, and then Lion
that's the
Pride
one. Yes, but then she beat that horse again, who was third there the last day. It's just they're in and out horses who she's been beaten, and she was probably entitled to win as she was in them listed races. Look, hindsight is saying that, but she was probably entitled to win them because the rest were so in and out. She needs to now step up to the top table in these group races. Guantanamera has already been there. She won the Grand Prix de Deauville the last day, beaten a rest by 4 lengths. Won that really well. That was on softer conditions. She handles these conditions, and I just think at the prices against that favourite who, look, you either get stuck in or you don't, I would have said, I'm happy to take this horse. So yeah, Guantanamera for me.
Big price. I like it. Harry, are you looking similarly big there?
Yeah, look, I just think this form with Arrest. I mean, we all know that Arrest loves the slop. That sounds horrific, but this horse is so good on softer ground. But this Guantanamera, I just love the way that she battled and just battered her rivals. And Stefan Pasca got a right old tune out of her. You've got to remember that this horse was winning for the first time since back in 2022. So it was a big old performance. And like for me, I think Kalpana at 7-4, you can get short in that. I think it's an awful price. I mean, it's for the horse. I mean, you've got the horses trying awful ground for the first time in her career. She's coming off two awful races that in this level of form you wouldn't stand a chance. Now she's far above that class, but I just think in a pretty tough Group 1, not saying it's the best renewal in the world, but it's certainly pretty competitive, and I wouldn't be taking 6-4. I think it's a criminal price. I think the favourite in the following races is much more worth smashing up at that price than.
Just to touch on what Harry said there, this Guantanamera, she has been run over 1-2, and she keeps on staying on. That 1 mile 4 soft ground, like that was the key to her, and she burst into life. And to beat a rest by 4 lengths on ground the rest loves it. Yeah, like Harry says, yeah. We're in agreement in a couple of races now, Harry.
Yeah, this is not good. But I'm just copying your selections with my form. I'm either bringing you down or jumping on the winning side. So no, but I'll let Ash side the Kalpana train.
Well, I mean, like, it's a fairly common thing that me and Harry do disagree on selections. Usually, me and Lee agree on selections. It's probably a good thing, to be honest. You can look at my selections and put a line through them in the Racing Post. You'll probably be fine. No, look, Kalpana, I'm a big fan of her. Like, I just think that I do agree with your points in the fact it was a listed race in a Group 3 race the last day. She does, it's a big step up in class. And there are because Hamish disappointed the last day, so she hasn't really beaten too many smashing horses kind of thing. But at the same time, she stepped out of her own gender twice now to win, and I thought she won really nicely both times. She won like a Group 1 horse, and she comes from a Group 1 family as well. Her dam is a listed winner, but she's a half to Zambezi's son, who won a Group 1 at the Grand Prix de Paris. It might be a different race actually, but it's a Group 1. Zambezi's son won. She's a really well-bred horse, and I just love her, and I love her form with Friendly Soul when she was second to Friendly Soul, who's since won a Group 1 on Arc weekend. That was on good ground at Newmarket. She smashed up Align the Stars in a handicap when running off similar weights. Align the Stars is now rated in the hundreds kind of thing. So, and she beat that horse by 10 lengths. I just really like her. I think she's a top quality horse, and the fact that these older horses are going to have to give weight away to her, like Guantanamera is going to have to try and give £6 away to her. I think that's going to be a really tough ask. So, look, Kalpana, she's been my horse all season, and I'm sticking with her. I like her a lot, and hopefully she can bring it back when it matters on the big day. So Group 1 Queen Elizabeth II Stakes is up next, but we're going to go over to an interview we did with Dylan Cunha as Prague supplemented into the race. So we're going to go to that interview now. Pleased to be joined by Dylan Cunha, who is hot on the press with supplementing Prague for the weekend on Champions Day. Dylan, I hear you've been at the sales today. How's things? How are you? How are you doing?
Yeah, it's going really well. We're one winner short of our target for the year. We've reached all the targets basically we set for the year, and we obviously have Prague in the Group 1 on Saturday, so it couldn't be going better, really.
Couldn't be going better. That's what we like to hear. And obviously, the big story around you and the yards. You coming over from South Africa. You did it 2 years ago in 2022. You're a Group 1 winner over in South Africa, and you've certainly hit the ground running when you come over to the UK. What's it been like? What's the experience been like, sort of being in the heart of the racehorse in Newmarket? What's the UK experience been like for you in training?
Well, I mean, being in Newmarket is basically, if you can't train a winner in Newmarket, you can't train. It's got all the facilities you need. There's literally everything you need there. It's obviously the difficult part is getting horses. That's been the most challenging thing, but loving being in Newmarket is just to consistently get horses and keep up to speed with things. You've got to keep placing horses here. There's a lot of racing and a lot of turnover of horses, so that's the most challenging part. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. And I suppose the question I always sort of wanted to ask is, coming over from South Africa to the UK, what's been the biggest transition you've had to make, if any transitions? What have you had to adapt the most to over in the UK lifestyle when training racehorses?
The weather.
It would be the weather, literally. It's very similar. Where I train in South Africa, Summerfeld's sort of built on a very Warren Hilltop style training track. It's the weather's basically the only thing, the challenging winter. There's a lot of traveling. I've had to actually stop myself from racing because I only go to the bigger meetings now, just purely because I need to spend more time in the yard and more time in the mornings with the horses. So I would say traveling and the weather is the two biggest differences. Otherwise, it's very similar. Racing in South Africa is very similar to Britain. There's just a lot more racetracks here as well. It's a lot more diverse.
Definitely a seamless transition then. Obviously, the big thing is Prague running in the QE2 on the weekend. I'm going to hand over to Lee, who has a couple of questions lined up.
Yeah, obviously you've got a big runner there at Ascot. Obviously supplemented as well at a cost of 70 grand, as bought by your head lad, wasn't it? Around 10 grand there from Coolmore.
Yeah, so he was bought by my Dev 10 grand at the horses and training sale, supplemented for 70 grand on Monday. Look, he's done nothing wrong. He won really well at Sandown. He was unlucky the next two starts. He was still a big baby and learning to race. The penny started to drop. He should have won the Group 3 at Haydock, I think. I feel anyway.
Yeah.
And then he won the Group 2 really well. Everything went against him and he still won it really well. So he deserves to take his chance. He's gone for the Group 3, the Group 2, and now the Group 1. I mean, he's going to have to improve again, but he's in great form at home, and yeah, he deserves a chance.
Yeah, what's your expectations going into Saturday? Like, has your head lad's got any thoughts as well?
Yeah, he rides him every morning. He galloped him on Saturday, and it was a very good gallop. He obviously would like a first 3 run. I would obviously like to win.
Yeah.
He's going to love the ground, so we don't have many excuses. Hopefully he settles and handles the bigger occasion, because he is quite a big, strong, uptight lad. But look, he's got to come and show he's mentally up for it as well. That's what a Group 1 horse is all about. So it's a big day for him on Saturday, big day for us, big day for the horse. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Harry?
Yeah, no, look, obviously exciting times for yourself then. I've seen plenty of our viewers, they like a good punt, and obviously going into the winter season, I'm not sure whether you're going to quieten down in terms of the horses that you're going to send out to the races, but have you got one going into the winter, maybe on the all-weather tracks, that you've got really well handicapped and can land everyone that's listening in a few bob or two?
We've got a horse called Patrol, who we bought on the horses and training sale. He looks well handicapped. He looks like a nice horse. We've got a horse called Just 10 High, who's won 2 in a row, but he still looks well handicapped. And then tomorrow night, which may be tonight, I don't know when you show this, we got a horse called Cartwheel running at Kempton, who I really like, but I'm hoping she wins tomorrow, and we'll probably put her away for next year, but she's one to follow.
Brilliant, good stuff.
I'd like to
What
hear
about-
it.
I was just going to quickly say, what about Chris Hughes has bought a horse with you? Is that right?
Yeah, he's a nice horse. His name's Clough, after Brian Clough. But he'll only run next year now. So he's the horse to follow next year, but he won't be running on the all-weather in the winter. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. And this comes out on Wednesday, so hopefully that runner tonight will keep a nice little eye out for. Just one more from me, Dylan. We all like to sort of look ahead into the future. We probably do a bit too much in racing over the UK for sure, but it's always nice to have a look to the future. Is there a horse you've got in the yard? Could be a yearling comes 2-year-old next season, or a 2-year-old going 3 next season. Is there one horse that's really exciting you at home that you can look forward to going into the turf next season, sort of to hit those big targets?
Yeah, we've got a few. I really like Cartwheel. He's running tomorrow or tonight, like on the show. She's going to be a nice horse next year. We got nice horses like Just King High. We've got a horse we bought off Andre Farb called Toby Tops. Hasn't run yet. So we've got a few nice unraced horses to come, or young horses. So that's exciting. There's always lots to look forward to, and we've always got one in the wings somewhere there. But Cartwheel will be. There's very few horses I've seen show as much as Cartwheel, so I'm excited about her. Yeah.
That is a great line, and that's a brilliant line to end on. Dylan, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate your time coming on the show, and really best of luck with Prague on the weekend. We do wish you the best of luck with him.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much to Dylan there for his time. Best of luck to Prague on the weekend. It's some story, it really is. And we've got the betting scoring for the QE2. Sharon 5-4, Tamfana 6 is Fat Cheval 8, same price as Metropolitan and Diego Velasquez 14-1 about Henry Longfellow. Lee, Sharon or not to Sharon? That is the question. Do you like the Fav, or do you like something at a bigger price?
Look, very worthy Fav. Been winning easily in them 2 runs prior to the last day. Just got caught well behind and a good railed on the winner and was too late when flying home. But look, I really do wish Connections at Prague all the best. Obviously, like we discussed, supplemented for the race. Dylan's head lad is the owner there and willing to stump up 70 grand to run the Group 1. That's the stuff of dreams, both for 10 grand. You know, it's fabulous. So I will cheer on Prague, but I have got 2 against the favourite, I would have said. One is Metropolitan, 6 runs, 3 wins, handles soft, won the Poulan, was second behind Sharon the last day, but I just think stayed on well into second, and I think on the ground, maybe can turn it around. I think there's a big price Metropolitan from that Group 1 winner. And also Facto Cheval, who was second in this race to Big Rock, was one of the only ones to actually get in with a sniff of the tail of Big Rock, to be honest. The rest were well beaten last season in this race. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take 2 against the field. Facto Cheval and Metropolitan. I think I'm leaning towards Metropolitan just to try and turn it around with the favourite.
Yeah, 3-year-olds have a great record in this race, so it is a worry taking them non-3-year-olds. But I say that to myself, but I kind of like Fat Cheval in this. It's not a bet I'm having at the moment. I'm still trying to work myself around it. But Fat Cheval, for all the reasons you said, the fact that it was sort of one of the only horses to get into the race last year alongside Tahira behind Big Rock, the form with Notable Speech is really, really good. The form with Paddington from last year is really, really good. I'm leaning towards Fat Cheval as well, but nothing concrete. Harry, you have a concrete opinion on this race, though, don't you?
I mean, lad, you're talking tribe. Just get absolute stuck into this Fav. I mean, Sharon is just, he should have won last time. He was given absolute stones of a ride by Sylvester, who, in fairness, he's coming off a ban. Remember, he got banned off Big Mojo. I think it's a 28-day ban. So he's actually back riding on Friday. And then obviously he's got the big one in this. Look, I just think this horse has been so good this year. Just improved well beyond my expectation. I'm looking down the field and you're just thinking, he's beaten Factor Cheval for one. I think, is it twice that he's beaten him? You're trying to take him on. He goes on the ground. He'll absolutely win doing cartwheels. The only thing is, if there's a runaway leader, and looking down the field, I can't see one. So I can't imagine there'll be too much pace on. If Sylvester's got a clear enough run, the best horse will win this race. Tamfana, on the other hand, quick word to her. when we were in France for the Arc weekend, a lot of David Menuzier's staff were in our hotel, and they were just raving on about how good this filly is and how special they really think she is. So big shout out to her. But this is a big step up from that group one against the Fillies. I think Charon's a different kettle of fish. I think he's an absolute machine, and he's going to be a printing machine on Saturday, boys.
She was very good, Tamfana. She was very good. I'm on the fence. I'm getting splinters. I'm on the fence. Moving on swiftly is the Qipco Champions Stakes, the final race we're going to be putting under the microscope because it is an absolute belter. Economics topping the market 5-4, Calandigan 7-4, Los Angeles 7-1, Iracine 14s, King's Gambit 20-1, Henry Longfellow is there as well, 25s. Lee, are you with Economics? Are you with Calandigan? What's the vibe coming from you?
Vive la France, I'm afraid for me. Calandigan, I am going to take because I thought Tom Marquand rode a peach the last day in the Champion Stakes. Battled on well to beat Auguste Rodin. It was the one time that I thought that someone's outridden Ryan Moore, and he kept him boxed in. He had to come wide. With a different ride and a better ride and a different day, maybe Auguste Rodin would have beat Economics. But look, is the improver and got plenty of time on his side, but that might count against them as well. You know, he's only had I think it's a 35-day turnaround or so. I've seen William Haggis has mentioned that he's taken every single one of them days to get him back right. And I just think it might be a bridge too far at an early stage in his career. Look, he might be the best of them next year, whatever they decide to do, I don't know. But I'm willing to take him on. I think Calandigan bolted up at Royal Ascot and run a huge race behind City of Troy to get within a length. Ryan White again stole that race. Not stole it. Look, City of Troy was the best in it, but it gave a ballsy ride out in front, and the rest had to come and play catch up. And he was the one that was chasing City of Troy down. Fourth was the Arc winner, Blue Stocking, and I just think that was form works out better than the Champions Stakes. So yeah, I like the form of the Judmont. I think he bolted up the last day at Royal Ascot before that. Calandigan for me. If there's one at a price who will definitely hand the ground, this Iracine at around 14s there. That one will definitely hand the ground. Maybe it's worth a 5 or 10 or save or whatever you want to do. But Calandigan for me.
Wow, one vote in the Calandigan camp. Harry, what's your vote going on?
Do you know what? I'm actually going to go with Los Angeles in this. Now, I've given this horse quite a bit of shit about saying he's as slow as a boat, but he really impressed me in the Arc. I just thought that this horse looked beat from an early stage, and he only finished a length behind Blue Stocking. I mean, I thought it was a very, 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 very good performance. Calandigan, it would be my preference about him and the Economics, but I just
Harry, the turnaround. What would you worry about that or not?
Well, I just think that they Ballydor haven't got anything in this, and if they rock up with the likes of Luxembourg, I think they'll be pretty disappointed. So I think they're going to want a decent bullet.
Are they going to roll the dice just for the sake of having a runner in the race? Not that they're going to waste it, but it's the end of the season.
It depends. You say the same with Kyprios. Why would they go for that race? Why would they send Los Angeles from the Arc to the Champion Stakes? Look, if the horse has come out well, then he'll go for the race. If he hasn't, then he won't. If he doesn't, Calandigan, I think, will beat Economics. But that's how I see the race. I think Los Angeles is far too overpriced in this. I think he might be slow as a boat in my eyes, but the boat just keeps rolling.
I'd probably vote Calandigan as well. I have a small worry about Economics on the ground. He's ran on it before. He ran on heavy on debut and was beaten, and then he ran on good to soft at Newbury and he won, but he was 4-6. It was a pretty winnable race, and it was a maiden, and he went and won that day. He hasn't. I can't get behind him on the ground. He hasn't really got a soft ground pedigree. I can't get behind him, and I think maybe Calandigan might down him in this one. But the one I'll give to you at a big price, and it's going against everything I believe in about pedigrees and ground and stuff. I think King's Gambit's a bit overpriced in this. I think he's been unlucky in 2 of his last 3 starts. I thought he was given too much to do at Ascot when flying in behind JRB. He's given too much to do when running first time over 12 furlongs at York, should I say. That was behind Los Angeles. I think if William Buick positions him 2 lengths close to the pace, or even a length close to the pace, I think he beats Los Angeles and he beats Illinois as well. And he's 20-1 in a race like this. He also, to me, has an action like a soft ground horse. He won the London Gold Cup on good ground at the start of the season. That wasn't quick ground. That was just, standard, good ground coming out of the jump season into this ground. And I thought he did it really nicely. And that was probably the softest ground he's faced all season. He also was second on soft ground at Newbury behind Bracken's Laugh when giving weight away. I think he's got a chance, and I think
I agree.
I think he's got an action.
I agree. I think he has got a chance. It was the worry about the ground and just whether he's up to this level. But them runs, I think they've been fine. And the winner at Royal Ascot there is Frank de Form in no uncertain terms.
I just think his form, wherever you look, is looking decent. That Royal Ascot run, JRB went on to finish second to Economics, I know, but then went and won Group 2 on Arc Weekend. Bellum Justin came out and won in America. Like it looks like decent form, and I don't think he's a 20 shot. I think he's just overpriced. But yeah, I probably, if I was having a bet now, and I probably will actually, 20-1 looks big about King's Gambit. Anyway, gentlemen, we're going to go to our best bet. It says, please like, subscribe, and screen. But that's just to remind you, what's our best bet of the British Champions Day, Harry?
Look, Charon's going to be my best bet of the day on Saturday. I just think this horse is far classier than his rivals, and I think if he didn't win, it'd be very disappointing. Beating the like, I know obviously we've heard from Dylan about Prague, but I just think Charon's he's on a rapid improvement, and if he doesn't get stones like last time, he should be on the premises. And I think 5-4 is still pretty generous, if I'm going to be honest.
Fingers crossed. Lee, yourself.
Calandagan probably is going to be my best bet, and I'll see him Montesib maybe his next best. I do think it's got a good chance, and I hope everyone has a good day, and especially Dylan and the team. I think they work extremely hard. I've never heard one bad word against his team, and everyone who have got involved with him is honestly like they can't speak more highly of him. So good luck to Prague and especially his head lad there.
Like it a lot. I go for probably Calpana in the Fillies and Mares. Can't ditch her now. And Bouvier in the sprint, or should I say Bouvier in the sprint. I think he's got a great chance. And he gets I think he's got a belter over 6 furlongs. Anyway, gentlemen, that's all we're going to be covering. Best of luck on British Champions Day. If you want to play on any of the fancies or fancy your own, please do it responsibly. We'll be back next week because it's Cheltenham. It's bloody Cheltenham. It's the October meeting, so we'll be back talking about that next week. Saturday Live we'll be doing as well, I assume, on Saturday ahead of Ascot. Best of luck, and we'll see you very, very soon.